Hi, everybody. This is Terry Green with another episode of the BizEase Blab, and today we are interviewing Jayne Atkinson of Speaker Launcher about what speakers need on their website. Hi, Jayne.
Hi.
First, some housekeeping rules. There's a no tolerance for trolling. There's if I see any curse words or sexual innuendos or anything like that, you'll be booted out. And any general disruption, I might warn you, but then you'll be booted out. So that being said, let me introduce Jayne. Jayne Atkinson has been helping speakers catapult their businesses for more than 25 years. First as an agent for several rapid success speakers, and then as a Speakers Bureau VIP or VP, and now as a business coach and consultant. Jayne has seen the industry from many angles. Jayne's book, The Wealthy Speaker 2.0, The Proven Formula for Building Your Successful Speaking Business, is a perfect resource for speakers at all levels. And her latest book, The Epic Keynote, Presentation Skills and Styles of Wealthy Speakers, help speakers raise their game from their platform. So first of all, I'd like to welcome you, Jayne, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me, Terry.
That's great. And we're probably going to hold questions until the end just to make it easier. So if you do have a question, please type /Q followed by the question into the chat box, and it'll appear in our little area that lists all our questions. So I guess the first question I have is, you've been working with speakers for quite a while. And one of the things that you do is you help them develop websites that will help make them wealthy speakers. So in your opinion, what are the three most important things speakers need to showcase on their website, the three major components?
Well, there's one thing that I talk about a lot with my clients, and that is the idea of this, what I would call a promise statement. It's just a little short line, 5 to 7 words, and it allows people to hone in immediately on what it is that the outcomes of your work are. And so you might call it a tagline. Some people call it a brand tag. There's all kinds of different ways to come at this. But the idea of the promise is that when people come onto your website, boom, within 10 seconds, really, we don't even have 10 seconds to impress somebody these days with our short attention span, but they can see what problem you might help to solve. They can see the outcomes of your work, and that's just so important. So a lot of times I'll come onto a website and it will say, hire me, I'm a speaker, and it doesn't speak to the outcomes of that person's work. And so that's what we're trying to do is, I call it a marketing flip-flop. We're trying to make sure that it's about the buyer first and the outcomes of the work. So that would be number one, would be a promise statement. We want to make sure that that's front and center. Number two, we want to make sure that the copy on our website, the words that are on that homepage especially, are really speaking to the buyer's needs and maybe some of their pain points. So rather than, once again, it being hire me, I'm a great speaker, which of course everybody would probably boast the same thing. What we're really trying to talk about are the outcomes of the work that you do, the problems that you might help them solve. And you really might talk about those problems early on the homepage of your website, for instance. The third thing, I think, and this kind of goes back to even an earlier day before you're even developing your website, is not being focused. It's so difficult to actually develop a website when you haven't picked a lane in terms of what it is that you want to be known for. And so we call that, of course, picking a lane. And a great question to ask yourself is, what topic do I want to be known for 5 years from now? Some people will list, 4, 5, 6, 7, sometimes a dozen topics, and that doesn't really give the buyer anything specific to hone in on or see kind of the outcomes that you're helping to provide with your work. So you will find when you go to develop the website that you're having a hard time writing it because you don't really know what market to write it for, and you don't really know what outcomes you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's our 3.
Those are some really good points. Are there any specific websites that you've seen that really really do? My brain just went blank.
Illustrate the kinds of things that we're
really
talking about.
Illustrate the types of things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
The best
Actually,
websites.
one of the things that I think we need to remember is not to overcomplicate the process, not to overcomplicate what it is that we're doing. And a great example of that is Lisa Ford. So it's lisaford.com. And she speaks on customer service. She has spoken on customer service for years and years and years. And when you go to her website, it says something like delivering exceptional customer service. That is her promise, that tagline that we were talking about, how to deliver exceptional customer service. It's not really a difficult one. It's not the most, kind of, clever use of words, but hey, sometimes you just have to say what it is and allow people to see how it is that you're going to help them. And Lisa gets it done. She even wrote a book at one time, I'm told, called Customer Service. And so you'd think, wow, that sounds pretty basic, but that's all that was required in that moment for her to say that this is what I'm offering. So check out lisaford.com for someone in terms of just absolute simplicity and clarity around what it is that the person is going to provide.
Okay, and I put it in the chat box so people can refer back to it later.
Okay, great.
I've got a bit of an echo. I'm not sure why, but hopefully we can get by it.
Okay.
So you've told us the top 3 good things, or the things you really want to find. What are the top 3 mistakes that you find? And I'm not going to ask you to tell us anybody's website that, really
okay,
has
you need
a
to
bad
go
one.
here and look at this.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to call anybody out on the mat.
What are the 3 biggest mistakes?
I would say that, I'll tell you what some of my pet peeves are when I go onto websites. One big pet peeve of mine is making it difficult to find your contact information, because I feel like that's the most basic thing. That's like the bottom. The bar is only set this high in terms of what your website needs to do for you, and that's the lowest of low. So let's make sure that there is a contact us button. Typically, it'll be the home page at the beginning. The contact us page will be on the far right. And don't make me fill out a really super long form in order to be in touch with you. I would love to a short form, and if you want to have your email address and your phone number and even potentially your address at the top of that form, because first of all, you want to make it really easy for people to say, no, I don't want to do a form. Let me just click on the email and get an email through to you. But then second, if they want to pick up the phone and call you, you're allowing them to do business the way that they want to do business. And then third, the reason why you might put your address on there is people hiring you to speak really want to actually know where you're flying from. So they're figuring, okay, well, if they're in Alaska and my event is in Florida, that's going to cost me a fair bit to get that person there. So that sometimes they take that into consideration when they're booking a speaker. So make it easy. So number 1 would be make it really easy for people to contact you. And that contact us button really gets the job done. You don't have to sprinkle your phone number and email address around the whole rest of the website. Just make sure that it's there on the contact us button. Now, this one is a little bit controversial, and I've really struggled with this myself. Leading people to your website and then having them follow squirrels away from your website. So for instance, we all have, myself included, my web designer won this battle. If you go to speakerlauncher.com, you will see that I think we have, I have to check it again, our social media links right there front and center. I have really debated this. I've struggled with it. I've thought about putting them over on our Contact Us page because I've spent all this time and energy and potentially money to get you to my website. Now I'm going to say, follow me on YouTube. Click. Off to YouTube I go, and the next thing I know, I'm watching like a cute puppy roll down the stairs or something. I am gone. I have an attention span about this big, and you've just offered me something. Whoops, hang on a second. You've just offered.
Okay, you're gone now. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I don't know if it's a mistake, but I do know that it's something that we really just want to think through whether or not we are sending people chasing after squirrels the minute they arrive at our website. So the social media is one thing, the contact page is another thing. Lacking a clear promise is kind of an aside because we've dealt with that one already. But let me give you one more. I would say you want to look at your website from the eyes of a buyer, a decision maker, and look at it to see whether or not it's too about you. What we really want it to be is kind of a balance of about you and about them. And if I go to your website and there are like 25 or 30 pictures of you doing all kinds of different things, it may feel a little bit too much you focused and not enough them focused. So put yourself in photos of you kind of dealing with your clients and talking to your clients and on stages. That's fine. A couple of headshots, but we really don't need to see you in 20 different poses. So be thinking about having just some key ones so that they can see you, and you want people to be able to look in your eyes and kind of see that you're trustworthy, but you don't necessarily need to spread the whole website full of photos of you. Think about how you can switch that up and put interesting photos there that aren't necessarily that. So those are your top three.
Well, I think for a speaker, you probably have a really good point about the social media, because they're not necessarily there to follow you on social media. They're there to find out what you can do for them to book you. So that's a really good point. Is there anything that will just make you click away from the site immediately?
Well,
I know what mine is.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, you could share yours with us too. I think that if I have to really, really work hard to figure out what the person does, I probably wouldn't hire them if I was a decision maker. I think if you make me work too hard to kind of dig around and dig through what all it is that you're offering to go, oh, okay, now I finally get it, that's going to be a problem. We have pop-up boxes, you know, I guess they, whoever they are, say that those pop-up boxes to sign up for something work. I will say sign up for my newsletter, probably not going to cut it today. I unsubscribe from at least 5 to 10 newsletters every single week, people who subscribe me to them without me asking. So if you're going to dangle a carrot and try to get, or a magnet and try to get people to sign up for your newsletter, you need to offer something that's really relevant for them and something interesting for them. So as an example, people can go over to speakerlauncher.com. They can take a look at the homepage. I actually have 2 magnets on the homepage. One magnet is our 3-part video series on how to accelerate your business, which is a really effective one that's working for me quite well. And then the other one is take the Wealthy Speaker Audit. And that allows me to start a conversation with people. So consider, rather than sign up for my newsletter, maybe if you speak on communication, you know, how well does your company communicate? Take the quiz. And so they might have a quiz or an audit or something interesting that would allow people to, you know, engage with you in a way that's a little bit more interesting than sign up for my newsletter.
Very good. I know with
Okay.
pop-ups, I really struggled with pop-ups, but they are effective.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just
And
that balance of,
I think you just made,
not every 5 minutes, every time you move your mouse, you've got pop-ups all over. I hate
right.
those.
Right.
But
So
the one,
subtle
yes.
pop-ups, and make sure that whatever you're asking for has something really good attached to it. If it's just pop up
Mhm.
and sign up for my newsletter, that's not going to cut it.
No, there's got to be value.
Hmm.
The one thing that does make me leave immediately is when somebody has audio or video that starts immediately without
Hmm.
me clicking on the start button.
And
I've gotten burned. No
no
warning.
pause button. You want to have a
Yeah,
pause at least, or something, so that you can turn it off
yeah,
if you want to. And I know that that's one of my, we do have a promotional website where we have video that comes on right away, and I insisted on making sure that there was a pause button there, so that if people didn't
yes,
want to, and if they've come back again and again, oftentimes people need to visit the site a few times, and so I want to make sure that I don't annoy the heck out of them by running it automatically.
right. And speaking of video, do you believe that it's really important for a speaker to have at least a short excerpt of a video showing them speaking? Or do you?
Well, I think you'll find, I think our speakers will find that they can kind of create flashpoints in their business with the better and better and better video. So, yes, I think it's important. If I'm going to book you to speak for my company or my association, I am going to want to see you speaking live somehow. And
Mhm,
so, you talking to the camera, it might help get me a little bit closer to it. But ultimately, what I'd like to see is you up on stage doing your thing. And even if it's
mhm.
only a 2-minute clip, I have heard meeting planners and bureaus say that they can book people based on a 2-minute clip, or at least submit them in for a job based on that. And so I think if the 2 minutes is good enough, then I think that can work for you. So
Okay.
I would say yes to video, and that's a hard thing when it's an emerging speaker. They don't always
Mhm.
have the video, and so we do the best with what we've got.
Right, right. Um, and I understand that you do not necessarily recommend a media page. Is there any specific reason, or do you just not feel it's necessary, or does it go back to the lots and lots of photos and things?
Well, what I would recommend is I would call it a meeting planners page or
Okay.
a meeting logistics page. If somebody wants to get a photo of you, then that's where they can go. They can get
Okay.
your photo, your introduction. They can get a bio from you. They can get speech titles that they can, or speech outlines that they can cut and paste right into the program for their event. We really want to be as easy as possible to work with. And by having a link to yourname.com/meeting planners or event logistics, that allows people to go and get everything that they want. If
Okay.
you are in the media a ton and you're getting a ton of media requests, then you might have yourname.com/media. Whether or not you have a tab specifically for that, or you put it on the contact us page, or you put it as a link from the about you page, there's all kinds of different ways to do it. But I think it's going to depend on how much media you're actually doing.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense. We have a lot of time, so I know that you do a program specifically for, newer speakers, a catapult program. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about that? Because I've seen it, and I think it's really valuable. And I'm not a speaker, but can you just take us through that and tell them what you would
Sure.
teach them?
Sure. Well, we have a 16-week course that people can come in. I would call it a hybrid course. It's not an online course completely. We do meet with people every second week. We meet on Thursdays in order to make sure that the people running through the course in that moment are getting their questions answered, and they really
Mhm.
start to bond with each other. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So we offer that. We have a Facebook forum where we can have people ask questions. And so on a Monday, you might get module number 1, which is going to be about, looking down at my little cheat sheet, picking a lane. And that's kind of the beginning. So I have this process that I walk people through in the course called Ready, Aim, Fire, and I'll tell you what that's about in a second.
Okay.
So you'll get module 1 on a Monday, and then you'll have about 10 days to work with it, and then we'll be meeting live on a call. We do Zoom on the call so people can see each other, and you just get to ask questions and really move your business forward that way. And then we continue those questions and answers over on the Facebook page. I call it like an immersion course into all things Wealthy Speaker. And people are able to really go deep. We have a whole range of topics. And if they go to wealthyspeakeru.com and then click on the registration link, you can see out there what all topics we cover. We talk about books and developing product. Near the end of the course, we talk about selling yourself to decision makers and fees and how to raise your fees, and really walk through this Ready, Aim, Fire process. Do you want me to share with you the Ready, Aim, Fire structure,
Please
Terry?
do.
Okay, so in the ready stage, and people will, a lot of people, this is where we start. In the ready stage, we're getting crystal clear on what we're selling, and we're developing that promise statement and that marketing language so that people will ideally get it very, very quickly. And then we roll that out to AIM. And in the AIM stage, we develop our marketing materials that support that clarity, and especially the website. And then and only then do we fire it out to our target markets. And a lot of people will fire and they'll go, oh, geez, I'm not really clear on what I'm selling, and they'll have to circle back to Ready. Or they might have been firing for a long period of time, and they decide they want to reinvent themselves, and that's when they come back to Ready and go through the whole process again. So the Ready, Aim, Fire is my formula for success, and it's the basis of the Wealthy Speaker 2.0 book, and it's the basis of all the coaching work that I do, as well as our 16-week course. It's kind of the foundation for everything we do over here.
Okay. Well, it makes a lot of sense, because if you're not ready, I mean, it's like if you're in archery, if you're not ready and you don't aim, you don't fire. So
that's right.
You know, when you lay it out that way and give them step by step what to do, it really makes it a lot easier for them.
Yes, absolutely.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us how people would contact you? I went ahead and put wealthyspeakeru.com in the chat box for people, and I will you tell me the links and things, and I'll put them in there.
Okay. Well, the other website is speakerlauncher.com, and that's really my clearinghouse for all of the work that we do on all fronts. So the Wealthy Speaker U is kind of the university headquarters, and because we had to develop a membership platform and all of that, that's why we separated out our brands. But Speaker Launcher is the main website, and if somebody just wants to get some free things, they can go there. There's tons and tons of great podcasts and blog posts, and they can really take advantage of a lot of great information without spending any money. But if they do want to spend $20 on the Wealthy Speaker 2.0, it's a great, great investment, and it's something that people will refer to back again and again.
Okay. And if someone does want to connect with you via Facebook or Twitter, could they just put Jayne Atkinson in the search bar?
Yes,
same for Twitter,
absolutely.
or would Speaker Launcher be better?
Well, I'm on Jayne Atkinson on all social medias. So yeah, that's the best way to go. Yep.
Okay. And that way we don't have to muddy up the website.
Okay.
Well, do you have anything else? Any other words of wisdom you'd like to impart to someone wanting to become a speaker, or a new speaker, or someone who just needs more information?
Well, one of the things that I think we haven't mentioned yet, which I think is important, is putting out great content out into the world in the form of your presentations and your workshops, the more you can work on that and craft it, deliver it in a really, really great fashion. There really is no better form of marketing than a great presentation. And so I think probably our final parting words should be, if you are new to the industry, really spend a lot of time and energy and money on making sure that the product is great, that making sure that you've got a really, really solid presentation. If you do that, I think that will be a great form of marketing for you, and all the other things can fall into place.
Okay, well, that's great. So again, if you want to get in touch with Jayne, just go to www.speakerlauncher.com. and you can find out all the information about her. And if you want to find her on social media, just type in Jayne Atkinson and she'll pop up. So thank you so much, Jayne.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've given speakers a lot of information to look at and digest. So thanks so much for being on the show.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.